Bitcoin tops $114,000 as traders eye US CPI for rate cut clues. Crypto Daybook Americas. Your day ahead look for September 11, 2025. By Francisco Rodrigues. All times ET unless indicated otherwise. Bitcoin BTC $114,504.97 is up around 1.4% in the past 24 hours as investors await key inflation data in the U.S., which could shape expectations for a much-discussed interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve. Before that hits, though, the European Central Bank announces its own interest rate decision. It's expected to keep rates steady. A surprise move may ruffle a few feathers. Economists are forecasting a modest rise in the U.S. Consumer Price Index, CPI, due at 8:30 a.m. That, coupled with the near 1 million jobs revision from the Bureau of Labor Statistics earlier this week, points to growing chances of rate cuts. On Polymarket, bettors now see a 79% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut this month, while perceived odds of a 50 bps drop have surged to 18% from 5.4% in a week. The CME's FedWatch tool shows traders positioned for a 92% chance of a 25 bps cut, and an 8% chance of an even deeper one. A rate cut would benefit risk assets, and the growing odds of such an event are being felt on the market. Spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs attracted a combined $928 million in net inflows yesterday, and Bitcoin hit $114,000 for the first time since early August. Still, some analysts are flashing caution. Jake Ostrovsky's, the head of OTC trading at Wintermute, pointed out that persistent inflation and slowing growth are raising stagflation concerns. Since late August, Ostrovsky said, investors have been moving away from Ether after its outperformance and back into Bitcoin. Options activity reflects that shift, with traders protectively buying puts on ETH and risk reversals for March and June 2026 dipping into negative territory. This creates a setup where the market feels well hedged, should pressures ease, Ostrovsky's noted. At the end of the day, we're close to the beginning of a rate-cutting cycle. Meanwhile, gold remains near record highs, with the Bitcoin-to-gold ratio approaching resistance levels that previously signaled crypto bottoms, analysts at QCP Capital said. If history rhymes, Bitcoin could be in the process of establishing another bottom, setting the stage for the next major leg higher. They wrote. Still, geopolitical turmoil shouldn't be ignored. Russia violated Poland's airspace this week, forcing NATO to scramble its jets and prompting Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk to say this was the closest we have been to open conflict since World War II. Tusk underlined there's no reason to believe we're on the brink of war, and Moscow denied responsibility for the attack. Stay Alert, by Oliver Knight, by Omkar Godbol. Crypto Treasury Companies. Spot BTC ETFs. Spot ETH ETFs. Source, Farside Investors. Crypto September 11, 9 a.m. Swissblock webinar on the final innings of this bull cycle. September 11th, Figure Technology Solutions, a blockchain-powered lender, begins trading on Nasdaq Global Select Market under ticker FIGR, following an IPO priced at $25 per share. September 12, Gemini Space Station, the Winklevoss Twins crypto exchange, begins trading on Nasdaq Global Select Market under ticker GEMI. IPO price range $24-$26. Macro September 11, 8:30 a.m. August U.S. Core CPI YOY Estate 3.1%. Mom Estate 0.3%. CPI YOY Estate 2.9%. Mom Estate 0.3%. Earnings. Estimates based on FactSet data, none scheduled. September 11th, 9 a.m. Swissblock webinar on the final innings of this bull cycle. September 11th, Figure Technology Solutions, a blockchain-powered lender, begins trading on Nasdaq Global Select Market under ticker FIGR, following an IPO priced at $25 per share. September 12, Gemini Space Station, the Winklevoss Twins crypto exchange, begins trading on Nasdaq Global Select Market under ticker GEMI. IPO price range $24 to $26. September 11th, 8:30 a.m. August U.S. Core CPI YOY Estate 3.1%. Mom Estate 0.3%. CPI YOY estate 2.9%. Mom estate 0.3%. None scheduled. Governance votes and calls. Compound DAO is voting on extending its comp yield strategy with MYSO's decentralized protocol and scaling it up to $9 million worth of tokens, targeting a 15% annual yield for the DAO. Voting ends September 11. Hyperliquid to vote on who issues its USDH stablecoin. Voting takes place September 14. Unlock September 11. Aptos APT $4.5009 to unlock 2.2% of its circulating supply worth $50.89 million. Token launches September 11. Sky $0.07213 to be listed on OKX. September 12. Unibase UB to be listed on Binance Alpha, MEXC and others. Compound DAO is voting on extending its comp yield strategy with MYSO's decentralized protocol and scaling it up to $9 million worth of tokens, targeting a 15% annual yield for the DAO. Voting ends September 11. Hyperliquid to vote on who issues its USDH stablecoin. Voting takes place September 14th. September 11th. Aptos APT $4.5009 to unlock 2.2% of its circulating supply worth $50.89 million. September 11th. Sky $0.07213 to be listed on OKX. September 12. Unibase UB to be listed on Binance Alpha, MEXC and others. Day 3 of 5. Boston Blockchain Week. Quincy, Massachusetts. Mantle MNT led a wider altcoin jump on Thursday, rising to a record high of $1.62 on the back of significant volume on derivatives exchange Bybit. The native token of its namesake's layer 2 network is primarily a governance token, but is also widely staked as investors look to secure a yield on their holdings. The annualized return of staking MNT on Coinbase stands at 71%, far more than the 1.86% return holders get for staking Ether, ETH, on the same platform. This has led to more than 2/3 of MNT's total supply being staked, resulting in a lack of supply on exchanges amid a wave of demand. Trading volume on Bybit hit $195 million over the past 24 hours, an 83% rise on the previous 24 hours. Open interest is also up 20%, outpacing the 15% gain in price, which can be attributed to traders opening new leveraged positions to bet on further upside. The new record high price could pave the way for other altcoins to rally too. The altcoin season index rose to 67 out of 100 on Thursday, demonstrating trader preference to trade more speculative and lower liquidity assets like MNT as opposed to crypto majors BTC and ETH. Open interest, OI, in BTC futures and perpetual futures listed worldwide remains elevated at 736K BTC. Just short of last month's record high 748K BTC. The past 24 hours the tally has remained relatively unchanged, alongside tentative trading in futures tied to altcoins, as traders adopted a cautious stance before today's critical US CPI report. Volmex's one-day BTC implied volatility index continues to fluctuate within a months-long range of 25% to 50%, indicating that the market is not anticipating significant volatility from the CPI announcement. The index recently stood at 35.5%, suggesting an expected one-day price movement of about 1.85%. Volatility indices linked to ETH, SOL and XRP also remain locked in recent ranges. On the CME, OI in Bitcoin futures remains depressed at multi-month lows, while OI in Ether continues to recede from recent record highs. Options, however, show the opposite trend. BTC options OI has increased to over 50,000 BTC, the most since April. And Ether options OI has jumped to 260K ETH, the highest since August 2024. On Deribit, 25 delta risk reversals continue to exhibit a bias toward put options in Bitcoin and Ether. Flows on OTC Desk Paradigm continued to lean bearish, with some traders picking up the September expiry $4,000 ETH put. BTC is up 0.26% from 4 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday at $113,916.87, 24 hours. Plus 1.5%. ETH is up 1.93% at $4,414.68. 24 hours. Plus 2.32%. CoinDesk 20 is up 1.24% at $4,209.95. 24 hours. Plus 2.13%. Ether CSR composite staking rate is down 7 BPS at 2.8%. BTC funding rate is at 0.0072%. 7.9245% annualized, on Binance. DXY is up 0.2% at 97.98. Gold futures are down 0.62% at $3. 659.30. Silver futures are down 0.34% at $41.46. Nikkei 225 closed up 1.22% at 44. 372.50. Hang Seng closed down 0.43% at 26. 086.32. FTSE is up 0.38% at 9,260.84. Eurostoxx 50 is up 0.18% at 5. 371.28. DJIA closed on Wednesday down 0.48% at 45. 490.92. S&P 500 closed up 0.3% at 6. 532.04. Nasdaq Composite closed unchanged at 21. 886.06. S&P/TSX Composite closed up 0.4% at 29. 179.39. S&P 40 Latin America closed up 0.81% at 2. 822.97. U.S. 10-year Treasury rate is up 1.3 BPS at 4.045%. E-mini S&P 500 futures are up 0.12% at 6. 547.50. E-mini Nasdaq 100 futures are up 0.17% at 23. 917.75. E-mini Dow Jones Industrial Average Index are up 0.11% at 45,592.00. BTC dominance 58.14%, minus 0.37%. Ether Bitcoin ratio 0.03872, 1.45%. Hash rate 7-day moving average 1030 EH/S hash price. Spot $53.17. Total fees 4.04 BTC/$456. 196 CME futures open interest 137,110 BTC priced in gold. 31.5 ounce BTC versus gold market cap 8.86%. S&P 500 E-mini futures have carved out a rising wedge pattern in a move to record highs. When a rising wedge, which is a bearish reversal pattern, appears after an extended rally to record highs, it significantly increases the probability of a sharp downside move. It suggests that buyers are exhausted and the rally is running on fumes. A potential sell-off in futures could weigh over Bitcoin and wider crypto market. Coinbase Global Coin closed on Wednesday at $315.34, minus 1.08%, plus 0.7% at $317.55 in pre-market circle. CRCL closed at $113.69, minus 3.64%, plus 1.46% at $115.35. Galaxy Digital GLXY closed at $26.08, minus 1.88%, plus 0.73% at $26.27. Bullish BLSH closed at $52.62, minus 2.21%, plus 0.72% at $53. Mara Holdings Mara closed at $15.86, minus 0.44%, plus 0.82% at $15.99. Riot Platforms Riot closed at $16.40, plus 7.82%, plus 0.24% at $16.44. Core Scientific CORZ closed at $15.99, plus 10.05%, plus 0.81% at $16.12. CleanSpark CLSK closed at $10.03, plus 3.72%, plus 0.5% at $10.08. CoinShares Valkyrie Bitcoin Miners ETF WGMI closed at $35.49, plus 7.12%. Exodus Movement, EXOD closed at $27.49, plus 2.77%, unchanged in pre-market. Strategy MSTR closed at $326.45, minus 0.63%, plus 0.57% at $328.30. Semler Scientific, SMLR closed at $28.02, minus 0.18%. SharpLink Gaming, SBET closed at $16.09, minus 3.6%, plus 2.05% at $16.42. Upexi, UPXI closed at $5.46, minus 0.73%, plus 2.75% at $5.61. May Pharma, MEIP closed at $3.07, plus 10.43%. Daily net flows, $741.50 million. Cumulative net flows, $55.60 billion. Total BTC holdings, 1.3 million. Daily net flows, $171.50 million. Cumulative net flows, $12.86 billion. Total ETH holdings, 6.38 million. The total circulating supply of stablecoins on Ethereum rose more than $14 billion in August, the biggest gain among top blockchains. The growth was led by USDC, UDST, USDA. The data highlights Ethereum's dominance in stablecoins, which stands out as one of the few crypto sectors with strong real-world applications. Blockchain-based lender Figure Prices IPO at $25 per share, raising nearly $788 million. CoinDesk Figure priced 31.5 M shares at $25 each for its September 11 Nasdaq debut under ticker FIGR, with about 3/4 newly issued and the rest sold by current investors. Broad U.S. price increases expected in August amid tariff pass-through. Reuters U.S. CPI likely rose 0.3% in August as higher gasoline, coffee, and beef costs kicked in, with depleted pre-tariff inventories now forcing businesses to pass on import duties. Avalanche Blockchain aims to raise $1 billion for crypto hoarding companies. Financial Times: The Avalanche Foundation is in talks with investors to create 2 crypto treasury vehicles, one new and one converted, that would buy discounted AVAX tokens.